From the Defenders of the Faith release, that is Judas Priest with The Sentinel. And kicking off the show tonight, we heard Iron Maiden, Wrathchild with Bruce Dickinson on lead vocal. And, well, the CMS Wrathchild is waiting in the wings. My very good friend and partner, Chris Aiken. What's going on, Chris?
What's up, man? How we doing?
Good. You need to boost your audio a little bit.
Am I low?
You're low.
All right, let's try this one. How about now?
Now you're where you should be.
Hi, everybody.
There you go. All right. Well, we are back. I was contemplating getting with you earlier in the show since you had a little difficulty last week.
Okay.
With the sound.
Well, you could have called. I was literally watching Orange is the New Black for the last 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then I started drinking.
You started drinking?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I've had a few tonight.
You have?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Now, are you sure it's okay?
Well, we'll see at about 1:30, won't we?
All right. Excellent. All right.
I'm good right now.
Right. I'm just boosting your audio here.
You need me to turn up more?
No. I'm going to do it on my end here.
Because I wouldn't mind so that I'd have a little play in this fucking thing.
Yeah, go ahead and boost your audio just a little bit.
All right, let's see. Hi, everybody.
A little more.
Oh, now we're way loud. Hey, I like it.
All right.
I'm all the way up to 2.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to institute maybe 15 minutes before doing this.
Yeah.
Especially because I fucked with all the settings to make it so that I could interview Lynch the other day.
Yeah.
And I had to change everything on the board because what you get and then what records, 2 totally different things.
Okay.
So I had to redo everything to do the interview. So
right.
I think 15 minutes before is going to have to be the way of the show from now on.
All right. Well, since you switched out to the other board, I know that you haven't been able to get it tuned in right.
Yeah, I'm still playing with it a little bit, but it still sounds good.
Yeah, you sound fine. I'm going to have to work with you, but anyway.
That's all right.
Fuck that
I'm
shit.
sure the fans are thrilled with this conversation.
Yeah, I know. We should have worked on it a little bit. It just didn't dawn on me that I forgot that you switched out to a different board now.
Well, dude, let's tell them about Channel A and Channel B. I'm sure everybody would love to hear about that.
Well, since you brought it up,
yeah,
this year, since you're traveling and you're going to have to do the show in a couple different locations and whatnot.
Sure.
I went ahead and invested in some equipment so you could have equipment at both locations.
That's right.
And you used the new equipment in Studio B and took the Studio B equipment to Studio C.
Right.
And, since you switched out equipment, we never really got into tuning it in, fine-tuning it to make sure it works right.
No, we just plugged it in and said, fuck it, let's go.
Well, that's exactly what happened. So shame on us.
I know. We who bitch about everybody's audio, and here we are sucking dick with audio.
Right.
Well, maybe not dick, but maybe what? Baby penis?
Well, given the activities, at least my activities this week, you would have thought that I had converted to sucking dick.
I don't know. I saw pictures that said otherwise, so.
Yeah, I know.
Once I didn't share.
Yes, I know.
You said something else.
Right. So anyway, this week has been rather eventful,
hasn't it?
Yeah. For me personally, I went out to see Air Supply on Tuesday. I fulfilled my commitment to go.
There you go.
And I met our friend Johnny Lightfoot.
Yes.
And he was very accommodating. He and his girlfriend took care of me and my date.
Wow.
Yes, they made sure that we had seats, made sure that we got to go back and meet the fellas.
You met the Russells?
I met the fellas. And met the bandmates, all the guys in the band.
Right.
And Johnny was very it was almost like he was more excited for me to be there than I was to go.
Well, that really probably didn't take a whole lot now, did it?
Yeah, well, but the thing is that they treated me like I was the celebrity guest.
Well, you were.
Well, I didn't look at it that way. I just went out to the show, because I basically just wanted to meet Johnny.
Right.
Because he's been pretty cool to us, on the phone.
Sure.
And it's nice to put a face to the name and all that kind of stuff. And he was just a cool dude to hang out with.
There was no part of you that wanted to meet the Russells just for the goof of it?
Well, for the goof of it, yeah. And believe me, I almost felt bad for having the thoughts about them the way that I have, because they were really nice guys. I mean, they were really friendly, extremely friendly.
Do you feel bad for the way we ended the show last week about talking about how there was no chance of Taylor ever getting fucked by the guys in
well, I didn't feel bad about that. I actually found that rather amusing.
I did too.
But they were just very friendly, and Johnny was just talking me up and talking the show up, and here's my friend I was telling you about. Here's that DJ. He does that metal show thing and blah blah blah. And hey, and they're from Australia, so it says, hey, nice to meet you, mate. Good to have you out at the show. Just very polite.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, they were very nice. And, I didn't get to get a picture with Graham.
Yeah.
He was on the Skype with his chick.
Oh, in Australia?
Yeah, his woman. I don't know where she was, but he was Skyping with her prior to the show.
Okay.
And he wasn't really dressed for the show yet. He didn't have the stage clothes on yet.
Right.
So the only way I can describe what he was wearing was he was wearing 50s dad picnic clothes. He was wearing like a gingham, like a pinkish reddish gingham shirt. Gingham it's that little checker square.
Right, sure.
It was a short sleeve button down gingham, reddish pinkish color, and shorts and flip flops.
He was the neighbor on Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, more or less, yes. So I didn't grab a picture with him. I thought, because he says you're going to come back after the show, and I go, yeah, sure, I'll be glad to come back after the show. So I figured, okay, I'll get a picture, when they're wearing their stage clothes.
Right. Okay.
So I didn't want to get this kind of goofy picture with this the neighbor from Leave It to Beaver. So I didn't take a picture with him then.
Yeah, but that would have probably been the better picture.
I agree. but you could tell it was like, I'm not really ready to be meeting people, but since you're here, I'll say hello to you.
Yeah, he didn't want that photo on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. So I didn't even bother asking. I was just like, okay, yeah, I'll grab a shot after the show.
Okay.
Well, but Russell Hitchcock, obviously he had street clothes on or whatever, and you would believe that the tats that guy got.
Really?
Yeah, you wouldn't think him, the way that they sing and the music that they play.
Yeah.
But he was almost metal. He had like heavy metal tattoos, and he had like all the heavy metal silver jewelry on, and
nice.
He was almost like a metal dude,
No hearts or mom or any of that shit.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that, which was kind of surprising, And I go, wow, check out the tats on you. And he goes, oh yeah, I got a few, and he was just pretty cool. And then, Graham came out after he was talking to his chick on the Skype.
Right.
And met, and, he was very friendly, very gracious. And, Johnny's like, yeah, this is the guy that does that metal show, that I've talked up, and so on and so forth. And I said, yeah, you guys wouldn't be, by any chance, be able to throw in any Slayer or Testament covers tonight, would you? And he was like, he goes, oh, I think I'm going to have a few drinks before I could get into that,
Nice.
But they had a lot of good sense of humor about that stuff,
That's good.
And then, of course, Johnny had to, that picture that Val put in the chat room.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looked like. Just very 50s neighbor dad.
Yeah. Heidi ho, neighbor.
Exactly. So we were kind of, just chit chatting, and Johnny was introducing me to the other guys in the band, and so what is the show that you do? And, how do I hear it? And Johnny's like, yeah, it's really cool, man. Those guys talk about everything. And, there's no limits of what they do and what they say. And you really like it. And so I pulled up just one of the short segments on the Spreaker.
Yeah.
I pulled up the she shits where she pees.
Yeah, because that's a good starter.
Yeah, well, for the dudes who wanted to know, so I pulled that up, and they were, checking out about 5 minutes of it,
Right.
And they were just like, wow, you guys talk about everything, don't you? It's like, yeah, we do. Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm going to check that out,
Yeah, well, think they're listening right now?
Who knows? I have no.
They probably got a gig.
I don't know. I was looking to see if they were playing tonight, but I didn't see any dates, so I don't know, to be honest with you.
Well, maybe your new friends, the Russells, will call in.
Yeah. Well, I sent Johnny a text earlier about, if he wanted to be in on the show tonight, because he texted me earlier this week, and he's just like, he goes, yeah, I could call in the show and we could recap if you want, and I'm just like, yeah, sure. Be more than happy to have you on.
Right.
So Johnny may call in tonight. I don't know what his schedule is tonight, to be honest with you, but I shot him a text earlier and said, are you up for, coming on the show?
Right.